Bob Geldof, an icon of passion, compassion, and indomitable spirit, lived a tumultuous life filled with both glorious highs and heartbreaking lows. Despite his many accomplishments in music and philanthropy, his greatest sorrow came not from his on-stage failures or professional struggles, but from the irreparable losses in his personal life. Most notably, the sudden death of his beloved daughter, Peaches Geldof. Peaches, his beautiful and talented daughter, died in 2014 from a heroin overdose, leaving Bob Geldof with an inconsolable grief. Although he had faced many major events in his life, from the death of his first wife Paula Yates to career struggles, the loss of Peaches hit him in a different way. It was not only a father's loss of his daughter, but also every parent's worst nightmare. To see the child he loved die before his eyes, while he was completely helpless. Bob once admitted, "The pain of losing a child is like no other pain I've ever experienced. It doesn't lessen with time. It's like a scar that never heals." He felt tormented by his inability to save his daughter from the temptations of life, the inner wounds that Peaches carried in her heart for many years. It was a gnawing pain, a wound that never healed, a constant reminder that there are things in life that no matter how famous, rich, or powerful you are, you still cannot control. That sadness was deepened when he realized that Peaches, like her mother, had not been able to overcome her inner demons. Paula Yates, his ex-wife and Peaches' mother, also died of a drug overdose when Peaches was a child. Bob was not only heartbroken over the loss of his child, but also felt like a cruel cycle of fate had happened in his life and that of his family. Bob Geldof was the embodiment of boundless creativity and a burning passion for music. He began his career in the 1970s as the lead singer of the Irish punk rock band, the Boomtown Rats. Their most famous song, "I Don't Like Mondays," not only reached #1 on the charts, but also became a cultural icon reflecting the social realities of the time. The success of the Boomtown Rats made Bob Geldof an international star, but he was never satisfied with just being a famous singer. For him, music was a tool to convey a message, to change the world. This led to the biggest turning point of his career: Live Aid, one of the largest charity music events in history. After witnessing the horrific famine in Ethiopia on a television report in 1984, Bob Geldof couldn't sit still. He sprang into action, writing the song "Do They Know It's Christmas" with Midge Ure, bringing together the biggest artists of the time, like Bono, George Michael, and Sting, to raise funds for relief. The song sold millions of copies, but for Bob, it was just the beginning. He went on to organize Live Aid in 1985, a global music event that was broadcast live, attracting billions of viewers and raising more than $125 million for famine victims in Africa. While Live Aid was a huge success, the journey was not easy. Bob Geldof faced countless challenges: financial pressure, public and media skepticism, and even criticism of how the money was distributed. There were sleepless nights, feeling helpless when thinking that despite his best efforts, hunger, poverty, and injustice still existed. Bob once burst into tears at a press conference when questioned about the effectiveness of his donations. Those were not tears of failure, but of pain when witnessing the world's indifference to those dying of hunger and poverty. Bob Geldof's career is not only associated with music, but also with tireless humanitarian activities. He was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize and was awarded an honorary British knighthood for his contributions to humanity. However, despite his many achievements, he once admitted that the feeling of success could never compensate for the pain in his heart. Bob Geldof was more than just a musician or a social activist. He was a revolutionary, always looking to make the world a better place. Throughout his life, Bob pursued many goals, but there were three major achievements that he always strived to achieve. From his early days with the Boomtown Rats, Bob Geldof understood that music was not just for entertainment, but also a powerful tool for inspiring and promoting social change. He didn't want his songs to just hit the charts. He wanted them to be a voice for those who couldn't. Do they know it's Christmas? And Live Aid were not just musical successes, but also symbols of global compassion. After the success of Live Aid, Bob didn't stop there. He went on to organize Live Aid in 2005 to pressure G8 leaders to cancel the debt of the world's poorest countries. He is not afraid to criticize politicians, speak out at the United Nations, and even confront world leaders to demand justice for the forgotten. Bob Geldof once said, "We cannot call ourselves human beings if we let people starve to death when we can save them." Despite his global philanthropy, one of Bob's greatest struggles has been trying to be a good father. After the death of his ex-wife Paula Yates, Bob gained custody of all 4 of his daughters, including Paula's child with Michael Hutchence, Heavenly Hirani Tiger Lily Hutchence Geldof. He has admitted that raising his children has been the most difficult challenge of his life. Despite being a global star, Bob still wants his children to have as normal a life as possible, away from the scandalous spotlight. Bob Geldof's love life has been filled with ups and downs and tragedies. He married Paula Yates in 1986, after many years of dating. They were once the power couple of British entertainment, appearing on magazine covers and symbolizing a passionate love. However, their marriage did not last long when Paula began a relationship with Michael Hutchence, the lead singer of the band INXS. Bob and Paula divorced painfully. Despite trying to appear strong on the outside, Bob was heartbroken to see his family fall apart. The sadness was compounded when Michael Hutchence died in 1997 under mysterious circumstances, leaving Paula and their young daughter, Tiger Lily. Just 3 years later, Paula also died of a drug overdose. Bob not only had to face the pain of losing his former wife, but also had to accept the responsibility of raising Tiger Lily, a girl who was not his biological child, but was a living symbol of his painful memories. Bob once confided, "I lost my ex-wife, I lost Michael, and then I lost Peaches. The love of my life was like a sad movie that I couldn't rewind or change the script." Although he later remarried to Jean Marine, a gentle and understanding French woman, the memories of Paula and the scars of broken love were always there, indelible. Bob Geldof is the father of 4 daughters, Fifi Trixibel, Peaches, Pixie, and Tiger Lily. And for him, family is always the most important part of life. Despite being a famous star, he never lets work or career interfere with his relationship with his children. In contrast to his career full of limelight, Bob always tries to keep his family peaceful and away from the pressures of fame. Throughout his years as a father, Bob always wants his children to have a life full of love and proper education. He understands that even though he is busy with charity work or his music career, he cannot let his family become victims of fame. Besides long tours, Bob still tries to spend time with his children, from family dinners, weekend outings, to simply sitting next to each other in peaceful moments. Despite the great losses he endured in his life, Bob never gave up his role as a father. After the death of his ex-wife Paula Yates, he did everything he could to care for and raise his 4 daughters, including Tiger Lily, the daughter of Paula and singer Michael Hutchence, who died in 1997. Raising Tiger Lily was a particular challenge for Bob, as she was not his biological child, but had become an important part of the family after her mother died of a drug overdose. But it wasn't all easy. Bob Geldof faced unforeseen challenges as his daughters grew up in the spotlight. All 4 of them had their own struggles with finding their own identity, with the intense public attention and media speculation. Bob's biggest concern was whether they could handle the temptations and pressures of fame without losing themselves. Despite his support and trust in his children, Bob could not help but worry about the decisions they might face in life. His greatest sadness was the loss of his beloved daughter, Peaches. Peaches died in 2014 at the age of 25 from a heroin overdose. Peaches' death was the greatest shock in Bob's life, a father who could not save his daughter from the trap that life had set for him. He devoted all his love and care to Peaches, but in the end, death still took away the girl he loved the most. Bob not only lost his daughter, but also lost an important part of his heart. Despite his best efforts, he could not avoid this pain. Peaches' departure left a huge void in his heart, a void that could not be filled. However, Bob's love for his children never changed. After his great loss, Bob continued to be a father, continuing to love and care for his children, and hoped that, although the world could be cruel at times, family was still his greatest source of peace and comfort in life. Bob Geldof's daughters, especially Pixie and Fifi Trixie Belle, have shared about the sadness their father had to endure throughout his life, from the losses to the difficulties he had to face. Both Pixie and Fifi saw their father not only as a celebrity, but also as a deep father who always had unconditional love for his family. Pixie Geldof shared in an interview that, although her father always appeared strong in public, she knew he had endured a lot of pain. "My father never showed his pain to us, but we knew he was heartbroken. Losing my mother, losing